You're being hunted. Every scroll, every pleasure, every skipped rep is another bullet. But the shots aren't coming from the external. They're coming from inside of your mind. This isn't motivation, this is confrontation. If you're a man who's tired of dying while smiling, the blueprint is your first weapon.
Let's get right into it today. Internal war.
You think that the war is from the external factors. Absolutely not. The internal war is the only war going on. Everything that is happening externally is being perceived by your internal brain, your mind. So how could anything external penetrate your mind unless you are the one allowing it to happen? It's an internal war, not an external war. Understand that the algorithm is going to be the algorithm, but it's your duty to make sure it doesn't penetrate your fortified mind. And a lot of you aren't fortifying yourself for war. You are allowing yourself to slip into softness. You are not sharpening your masculine edge. You are skipping all of the reps that you know would make you better. You're avoiding pain. Your pain tolerance is being diminished by algorithmic sedation. You follow feminine women and you want them to come to you without working on your internal structure, which is just being able to continue internal war. You're moving soft against a world that is trying to kill you, and you are allowing it.
Point 1, you're at war, whether you admit it or not.
The battlefield to this war is your nervous system. Your nervous system is scattered. It's everywhere. It's being pulled in sedation. It's being pulled in the pleasure of dopamine. It's being pulled in your inability to handle pain. It's being pulled in every which direction besides into itself and centered. You don't have a neutralized nervous system. You have a scattered way of life. Every comfort you choose is an enemy operation. You're choosing algorithmic sedation. You're choosing softness. You're choosing a terrible diet. You're choosing not to deal with the pain. You're choosing not to work out. You're allowing yourself to fall in your comforts because you don't want to be uncomfortable because of the internal war. It requires a lot of effort and energy to understand what the fuck is going on in your mind, and you don't want to give it that attention because your attention is scattered across the fucking board, which means you're losing and you're weak everywhere. If you try to be everywhere at once, that means you're weak everywhere. But if you center all of your energy and you allow it to fortify and refine yourself, you bring your nervous system center. You recognize, but you ignore all of your urges to go back into comfort. You're taking and reclaiming your energy. I don't care if you think you're not at war. Every one of us is at war. If you have social media, you're at war. You have women that are attracted to you, you're at war. You're building a business, you're at war. You're at your 9 to 5, you're at war. Every man is at war, and the second you feel that your life is not at war, you are submitting somewhere. You are allowing yourself to feel comfortable in one of your sectors, and you're allowing it to a point where it's sedating you enough not to recognize that you need to be under fire. So therefore, if you're not under fire, your fire is being dulled, which means you're not being disciplined somewhere. Life is not supposed to be smooth, and the second you feel your life being smooth, something's wrong. Your habits either sharpen you or they dull you. So all that energy that you're scattering everywhere, you're losing the war. You're in the trenches, and you're fine with it because it feels good. You see, the external doesn't try to fucking penetrate your mind by harsh reality checks. No. They give you the fucking lollipop so they can fuck you. No consent. They don't give a fuck about you. They want you to be weak so that they can play out the agenda. But you know who's in control of allowing them to give them the lollipop that you suck on like a bitch? You. Fortify your mind. Don't fix internal war with more content. You fix it with law. Read the blueprint. Step into the chamber. Obey or be erased.
Point 2, your mind has been hijacked.
Porn, dopamine, distractions, all equal portals. You're losing your fucking control to these portals that you are actively and consciously walking into. And then when you do it long enough where it becomes a habit, you are no longer in full control anymore. These aren't conscious habits. These are now subconscious habits that are formed by you, that you allowed to take full control over your mind. And now, so every time, instead of you having a trigger to do something that is aligned with your masculine discipline, you then have a trigger that is aligned with softness, that is aligned with sedation, that is aligned with you losing control. And you then think, oh, it's just my thoughts. It's negative thought. No. It ain't no fucking thoughts. It's programming. You've allowed it to program you to become soft. You've allowed it to then identify what's true as a dagger. You fear that dagger. So what do? You say that that's false and that's depression and that's anxiety, when it's really just the truth and the reality of your life and how you could fucking become better. But it requires you to let go of those comforts that have been sedating you. It tells you to let go of the fucking lollipop given to you and face and confront life. But you don't. You like being fucked. So continue being fucked by life, since you enjoy it so much. Because once it's done enough times, you're numb to it. And so when it's being done, as long as you have your fucking lollipop, ooh, take it from me. Fuck. Wake up. You've been programmed to be comfortable. You've been programmed to love dopamine. You've been programmed to run from pain instead of confronting it. And so then, if you've been numb to it, the enemy no longer has to wait at the gates to open. They're already in the command center, your brain. The algorithm is taking over your mind. You've allowed it. It only takes 21 days, and I'm sure you've been scrolling for more than 21 days. I'm sure you've been watching porn for longer than 21 days. I'm sure you've been falling for algorithmic sedation for more than 21 days. You no longer have control over this thing. The strongest muscle of your body is this. And you've allowed it to be hijacked by softness, letting go of your masculine control, letting go of your nervous system, letting go of your ability to stand firm within a structure pressurized by law to get after whatever the hell you wanted. So now your mind and your thoughts are no longer you. And then now truth, when I come with truth, you regard it as a threat. Anybody else who gives you some sort of truth, you regard it as a threat. Anything that doesn't make you comfortable is now a threat. Anything that doesn't give you a fucking lollipop is now a threat. And a lot of the times, the thing that will boost you into where you're trying to go is the thing that removes the lollipop and puts you in front of reality to see it for what the fuck it is.
3. Law is the only armor you have left.
You don't need motivation. You need militants. Fuck motivation. Motivation plays off your emotions, which simply means once the motivation is gone, once my voice stops speaking, once you stop hearing the podcast, all of the fucking energy that you have dissipates because you no longer have something playing with your emotions, which is very fucking feminine of you. To allow your emotions to trigger your actions? Really? You need something to stimulate you to move instead of standing in discipline and move regardless of your emotional feelings? That is what you need. A state of being militant, doing what the fuck you know is required to progress in war. And the war is up here. Fuck motivation. And if you still are clinging on to motivation, get the fuck off my page. I'm not here to motivate you. Fuck out of here. You either become a warrior, a person who is ready for war internally so that the external war doesn't fucking destroy you. Or you just continue to be sedated and fucked and suck on a lollipop meanwhile. You sound like a bitch to me. Sucking while getting fucked? Ooh, Eiffel Towered your ass. Tough. Structure is what brings back sanity, right? Being disciplined then fortifies your identity. Once you understand, okay, cool, I can read the layout of the battlefield. I understand that the algorithm is trying to sedate me. Corn is taking my ability to be masculine and polarize women in real time and understand everything that comes with being around the feminine. And I'm losing myself in silence. All of the programming that comes with the regular 9 to 5, going to school, going to all of these other people that also are influenced by the external war and don't worry about themselves is now further trying to program me into being soft and small and putting myself into a box. When you start to understand the layout of the battlefield, you can better than equip yourself with a structure that can fight each sector of the war. Fortifying your mind to understand that if I go into that space, I know what to do and what to ignore. If corn ever pops up on my feed or anything that urges me into that direction, I know how to ignore it or overcome that urge with doing something that aligns me with my goal. All the people that are telling me I'm insane for allowing myself to get out of the program system, I regard as a threat to my own sanity. You structure your nervous system to understand all of these triggers that are trying to make you soft again. And then as long as you're staying disciplined to that structure, your identity then becomes fortified around the structure or inside of the structure. So nothing can penetrate it. Now your mind is so sharp that you can see an attack before it comes. But the second you forego your structure and you think you can just walk out into the battlefield willy-nilly, you're gonna get struck and given the lollipop. But you keep sucking, buddy-o. You keep fucking sucking, Jimmy. And as we said, the physical and the spiritual mimic each other. And without any spiritual weapons, you're liable for anything to happen to you. You need spiritual weaponry. You need to understand how to commit rituals that are followed by positive habits to bring you towards a goal. You need a brotherhood that can keep you accountable. And you need law to be fortified with your masculine discipline. Because law, again, mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. If all of those are leading towards a goal that is bigger than you, a goal that is going to make you have a timeline jump, you will then, if you follow that structure that we spoke about a second ago, you will be able to get rid of all of the spiritual attacks that come with being in these spaces of algorithmic sedation, corn, and external programming. Your mind will be fortified and you'll be able to step in law knowing that, okay, cool, as long as I'm doing what I'm doing right now, I know that the laws of the realm will always bring me to where I'm looking to go, but I have to stay disciplined to it. That becomes your spiritual weapon. All of these things, they're, again, physical and spiritual, they mimic each other. So if you have all of these things under control, you are weaponizing you are giving yourself a weapon, a sword. And then you have a brotherhood of other warriors, other men, other masculine, disciplined, structured men to keep you accountable to your structure. Not by telling you, but by living in their own structure. And you can just glance over and say, oh shit, I'm slipping. Fuck. Very simple. But you're avoiding it because you like the lollipop. Well, you keep sucking, old Jimmy, old boy, and I'll see you on the other side because it's you that I'm trying to get rid of. No algorithm will save you. No girl, no coach, only law. The blueprint is where war becomes weapon. In your closing decree, war is real and you're out of time. If you don't govern your mind, somebody else will. Obey law or collapse. Consider yourself warned.